Hola amigos, ¿cómo está? Me llamo Diesel, and this is Game Over Gaming. It's a brand new resto guide, just for you lucky sons of bitches. So, me and a few other buddies that are trying to help make Game Over Gaming great and help get some YouTube videos going, we looked online for a Resto Druid guide, which is basically what we're doing for all the classes, seeing what's good and what's not. And we couldn't find a good Resto Druid guide to save our lives, man. The best one had like 17,000 views, and it was basically 6 minutes of a Resto Druid guide packed up with an extra 24 minutes of some guy rambling on about shit that didn't relate to druids or make sense. And then to top it all off, like 30 to 40% of what he said was just complete bullshit. So I said, not me, I'm gonna make me a better Resto Druid guide. So I made a druid guide, put it up on YouTube, and it bombed. It turned out like garbage. I don't know if you guys liked it or saw it, but I didn't like it. So I'm going to be revamping the audio, revamping the video. I hope you guys like it. Now, starting to talk about Resto Druids, I like to think of Resto Druids the same way as I think of the game Othello. No, I don't mean that Resto Druids are a board game that you should play with your grandmother on a Sunday afternoon. I mean that Othello's slogan is a minute to learn but a lifetime to master, and I think this applies better to Druids than any other class available at the moment. Because I could go on eBay, pay like 50 bucks or whatever it costs to be a Resto Druid nowadays, and then 30 minutes later be up in the game. 10 minutes later, know enough of where my abilities are to probably heal a dungeon. But that doesn't mean you're a great healer. That just means you can heal a fucking dungeon. And I'd like to label that as a minute to learn healer, which is somebody who you know your baseline abilities. Healing might even be easy for you. But the reason why healing is easy for you, and I know this is going to hurt your feelings, so I'm sorry in advance, but suck it up and let's actually improve how to be a Resto Druid. Okay? Now, back to what I was talking about. Why healing is easy for you is because you're not pushing yourself. You're allowing yourself to become comfortable in an easy rotation. You're just assuming I just must be great at my class because people don't die and everything just stays alive and I'm so fucking beautiful with my fur and amazing armor. Well, fuck your fur, fuck your armor. It's not okay to be comfortable with an easy rotation. If you have an easy rotation, that's because you're not pushing yourself. Now, being a lifetime to master player, which is what I aim to make you, and what I constantly struggle to be, is someone who's always trying to improve. Not necessarily being okay as a healing role. We're more support. We heal and offer support to a raid. We don't just do one specific thing. And our job as a player who plays a game to have fun, to grow, to expand the ability of a character, is to always do better than the raid before. Alright guys, so as far as the introduction goes, we're going to start by talking about conserving mana. We're going to hop into rotation. Then we're going to jump into stats, what you want your gear to look like, cooldowns and macros, and then tips and tricks on how to be a lifetime to master player and an all-around better healer. So in the terms of keeping your mana going, so you can stay being boss and as beautiful as ever, there's 3 things that you want to look at. First is innervate, the second is consumables, the third is replenishment. Now as far as innervate goes, you should have it set up to where it regens 20% of your mana. Okay, so innervate. Innervate, 3-minute cooldown, 20% mana. The only trick here is knowing when to use it. Don't use it when you have 90% mana, because you'll only benefit from 10% of it, the other 10% will be wasted. Don't wait until you have a low mana warning, because then you've already wasted certain opportunities to use it previously when you still would have benefited the entire 20%. Let me give you an example of this. Let's say 6 minutes into a fight, you've been healing your ass off, you have 20% mana left, you're now in oh shit mode, I don't know what I'm going to do, I'm going to run out of mana. Well, if you would have used it at its earliest opportunity, when Innervate wouldn't have been wasted, so as soon as you could benefit from the full 20%, you now would have been able to use it roughly twice. So 2 extra Innervates would have been 40% mana, with the 20% that you have right now would have left you with 60% mana, versus being at the current 20% that you are now. Now, hopping straight into consumables, the only tip that I have for you is that to not only keep a mana potion on you, but to keep a concentration potion going as well, because you need to concentrate. Now, what a concentration potion is you enter like a dream state for about 10 seconds, but you also gain back almost double your mana. So keep a concentration potion on you, and then look towards finding like 10 seconds of a fight, like maybe during a phase change, where you can pop that bitch and whip. Alright, now replenishment. As far as I'm concerned, I consider this the easy button. It's something that not only does it give mana back to you, but it gives mana back to the entire raid. It does this at a rate of 6% mana per minute, so in a 10-minute fight, you've given the entire raid 60% mana. And all you have to do to keep this going is just to keep Life Bloom going, which is something you should be doing anyway. So use Innervate the moment it's up and you have 20% or less mana. Keep a concentration potion on you. Look for a time where you can use it. And for the love of fucking God, don't let replenishment fall off, or I will find you. Alright guys, let's talk about tank and raid. 2 big rotations, only ones you need to worry about, obviously. And hopping right into talking about tanks, the big thing to consider here is try to conserve mana when you can. You're gonna 3x Life Bloom, hop right into Rejuvenation, and then focus on keeping both of them going at 100% uptime. Rejuve is going to allow you to be able to Swift Mend, which you're going to use off cooldown. If you don't need to put it on the tank, aim for a melee or range pack to get Efflorescence going. Now, Nourish spam, if he's taking light damage, Healing Touch if he's taking moderate to heavy damage, that son of a bitch, and Wild Growth off cooldown. Now, once we get done with this, raid time. You're still going to pop 3x Life Bloom on whatever target you deem appropriate, and you're still going to follow that up with Rejuvenation. But Rejuvenation is now going to be spammed. You're going to put it on as many targets as possible. I know it costs a lot of mana, but fuck your mana, use it anyway. Swift Mend off cooldown. Just try to get it to hit as many targets as possible. The same thing with Wild Growth. And as far as Nourish and Healing Touch is concerned, the only time that you would really use those in a fight is just to keep Harmony going, which is our mastery. Just increases the percentage based healed by our HOTS. It's a good thing to keep up, don't let it fall off. Now, as far as tanks are concerned, try to use Nourish as a spammable ability, and then use Swift Mend to keep it going, to keep your tank at a safe level. As you can see in this video right here that I'm showing, the tank, or excuse me, me, I am the tank for the purposes of feeding the fucking tigers. I always stay somewhere between 98 to 100% mana. I never drop down below. I could heal for fucking days and days and not have to worry about running out of mana. Now, if I am in a position where I'm going to be taking a lot more damage, I can pop Healing Touch instead of Nourish. They have the same cast time, but Healing Touch heals for a significant amount more. It also costs a significant amount more, but the difference is that if you have a dead tank with you sitting at 100% mana, you better be questioning your fucking life choices. Now, as far as raid healing goes, who should I put Life Bloom on? Well, Life Bloom, the only thing that you have to know about it is that it's a constant heal. You want to be keeping it going with 100% of the time. So you just want to find a target that's going to be taking damage with 100% of the time, just to reduce the amount of overhealing. 9 times out of 10, a tank is your safe bet. Well, it looks like your boy Diesel just got his fucking ass busted. I was doing this heroic fight. I'm not gonna mention any guilds, not gonna mention any names, but I was playing Bejeweled just to try to get some footage. I do it just to mess around, kind of troll during, like, you know, phase changes or whatever, just keep Bejeweled going. And I didn't know that it did this, and I didn't see anything on my screen, but apparently it announced that I had leveled. Not sure how that happened, what went down with it, but needless to say, we're doing a heroic fight. I'm healing, and I guess according to them, Bejeweled said Takato has leveled Bejeweled, or, you know, whatever the fuck. So I didn't have too many people happy with me, but you know what the sad shit thing was that I was still fucking top for radials, so whatever. Alright, if you're reading this video, or if you're listening to me and you were in that raid, please don't hate, guys. It's alright. It'll be okay. Now, as far as stats are concerned, haste is king, man. You want to get gear with intellect and spirit, obviously, but as far as secondary stats go, get yourself fat on haste, man. Get as much as you possibly can. The reason behind this is you want to get to the highest haste breakpoint that you can. Haste breakpoints are a magical thing. They increase the ticks of our hots. Not all of our hots, but at certain points, certain hots get extra ticks. So what you want to do when you're reforging and you're looking for gear is you want to get to the highest breakpoint that you can, and then get rid of all the excess haste that you have that didn't help reach that breakpoint, and all the crit that you have to mastery, because mastery increases our hots. So you get the highest breakpoint you can get to get extra ticks on your hots, and then you get as much mastery as you can get to get improved ticks. You see how that shit works out? We have extra ticks of improved healing because we're bosses. Now make me a sandwich. Yeah. Anyway, so alright, so I know you guys were saying that I'm saying, you know, haste is king, haste is king, so why am I telling you to get rid of all that excess haste that didn't reach that haste breakpoint? The reason behind this is because haste, when not used to reach a breakpoint, is almost worthless to us. To be quite honest with you, it increases our mana consumption, so it almost works in a negative capacity. So I like to think about it this way. I like to think about haste the same way as I think about women. And after I have sex with a woman, I like them like my mailboxes, which is outside of my house. So after you used haste for all that you need it for, get it outside of your house and get it off your gear, and get that, and then get crit, put into mastery. Your mastery is harmony, and as I talked before about how mastery and haste kind of works together, I always consider it working harmoniously, which is why I'm actually glad that it's called harmony. As cheesy as it fucking sounds, it really is harmonious. Alright guys, I'm going to put my spec in game. Copy it down if you want. If not, I'm going to provide a link to a different spec. And in that link, there is also the option to add it in game. So all you have to do would be to copy paste it in text and hit enter. So I know some of you get the clear casting buff, and you see those little green vines on like both sides of your screen, and you look at yourself like, what the fuck is that, and how do I get it off my bars? What did I do? And what that is exactly as I said. It's clear casting. It means that your next free big heal, or next heal that you would use is free. The only real ones that you would ever want to use with this is like Regrowth or Healing Touch. How I decide what to use is if my player has a lot of health out of his life, I would use Healing Touch. If he doesn't have a lot of health out of his life, or it's like a constant AoE fight where he would benefit from that 6-second hot, then I would use Regrowth, just because it would be more efficient. Alright guys, now as far as cooldowns and macros go, the two big ones that I really want to start this conversation off is with Tranquility and Treeform. Now a lot of people you see, you might even do this yourself, I did it for the longest time, is I combined Treeform and Tranquility. This is something that I've learned to be a big no-no, and here's why. If you're in a situation where your raid's taking tons of damage, and you're like, oh no, I need to pop Treeform and Tranquility, generally what tends to happen is that after you've been in Treeform and you just pop Trank and Trank's done, your raid's all the way up to full again. So now you no longer need to be in Treeform anymore. You just basically would go back to your normal raid rotation as if you weren't even in Treeform. So you now have like 25 seconds out of like the 30 seconds that you get Treeform that you don't even need to be in it. It's just a complete waste. So what I want to do is, like, if you're on the Horde side, if you're a troll, macro it to that 20% increased casting speed ability. If you're an herbalist, macro it to lifeblood, and just get that, so like lifeblood and trank, or berserking and trank. And what you'll find out is that that will generally, if you have rejuve up on everybody and you have wild growth and efflorescence going before you pop trank, by the end of that trank the raid should be okay, or at least safe enough to where after about 10 or 20 seconds of you just going in your normal rotation, they will be up to full again. And that allows you the opportunity to where, if you need to pop Treeform to keep them up because they're still taking large chunks of damage, or 30 seconds later they're going to take large chunks of damage again, you have Treeform ready and available. 25 of the 30 seconds you get it wasn't wasted. When you pop Treeform now, you'll be able to benefit from the full 30 seconds of it. Now, as far as Innervate goes, obviously we already talked about that in full. The only thing that I wanted to touch base on is make sure you're using it on yourself. Don't give it to anybody else. They only benefit from like 5% of the total 20%. And then just the other 15% goes to wherever the fuck wasted stats go to when they're wasted. So now as far as Innervate yourself, okay, that's covered. And Innervate, obviously use it at the earliest available opportunity, that it's not going to be wasted. The only thing left to really talk about is Nature's Swiftness. Now with Nature's Swiftness, that just makes any cast that's less than 10 seconds an instant cast heal. So the only really viable abilities that you can bind this to is Healing Touch. And just use it as an oh shit, if my tank doesn't get a big heal real quick, he's gonna die. Just use it in that type of situation. Alright, so just one last thing to touch up on before we hop into the next section. Whenever you're raid healing or just looking to heal more efficiently, look at using mouse over healing. Just /cast and then in brackets target equals mouse over and bracket space and then whatever the name of your heal. It will help reduce user interface lag, and it will also free up a lot of extra spells during the length of an extended. Don't be falling asleep on me, motherfuckers, because I'm not a sleep aid, and if I was, I'd have some nasty side effects. So stay awake. We just got one more section to talk about, and then you can get back to watching porn or doing whatever you do that makes you feel special. Now I'd like to think that we're close enough after this guide to where I'm the person that makes you feel special. But I know that I don't make all you guys feel special. But the important thing is that you feel special to me. You make me feel special. And that's truly what's important, because if there's anything more important than me, I want it caught and shot right now. Now, this is probably the most important section of this guide. This is certainly the section that's going to differentiate yourself from the pack. It's going to show you the true difference between being a minute to learn and a lifetime to master type player. I'm going to be using a lot of Fireland examples just because I'm sure everybody is pretty familiar with Firelands. So when I talk to you about something in Firelands, you're going to know what I'm talking about. So the first thing to hop into is getting used to non-resto abilities. So to give you an example of this, Major Domo fight, when Major Domo is in Scorpion form, and you guys are getting ready to take that last tick, and after that last tick you're all going to spread out to change the phase. So last ticks come. If you were to pop into cat form and to hit Stampeding Roar, you would spread out almost twice as fast as you would if you hadn't used it. You'd also be seriously reducing the chances of getting your tank one-shot. Although it's pretty funny when, you know, you see your tank get fucking one-shot. So maybe do it one time just to see, and then laugh a little bit, and then kind of just move on. Okay. The next part of this is like, is always be looking for little ways that you can change your spec, or mechanics that you can cheese to give yourself, or to put you in a better situation to help support the raid. Like on the Bellrock fight, for example, in your spec, if you were to change out, you know, 2 or 3 of the talent points to get Nature's Bounty, which is the ability where if you put Rejuvenation on 2 targets, you get a 30% reduced cast time Nourish, and then your Nourish also gets a 60% crit chance, or additional crit chance, excuse me. So what happens is that later on throughout the fight, you gain an amazing amount of stacks, much more so than you could if you were doing Healing Touch. And in theory, this is supposed to compensate for having Nourish be a lower base heal than Healing Touch. And also, what that will allow you to do, since you have such a faster cast time and you're getting so many additional stacks, is that if one of your healers, if one of their fucking, you know, hamster wheel internet dies out, or if they just die because they're idiots, it allows you to where you could just switch over to Healing Touch with, you know, 20% additional bonus healing than you would have originally had, and compensate and kind of carry that healer. Not that you should be carrying healers, but I'm saying if the situation ever arises, you'll be able to do it. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is getting used to stressful healing and volunteering for the shitty jobs. If there's a tank that's really hard to heal, or if there's something that nobody wants to do just because it sucks, do it. Volunteer for it. Get excited about it. Know that it's rewarding in itself, because what it does is it gets you used to stressful healing. And the reason why you want to get used to stressful healing and chaotic healing and really tough jobs is because once you get comfortable with it, you're going to have a one-up on people who aren't. And the people that are in your raid are going to rely on you. And you're going to become a better healer for it, and you're going to outshine people that haven't done all those shitty jobs with stressful healing, because they're not going to be able to compensate with it like you are. And then also, if you're not in a stressful healing situation, it's going to provide you a lot of breathing room where you can find ways to help better your role as healer or as support in that particular raid, which is also going to make you outshine other healing classes that aren't necessarily so used to it. You know, versus like a minute to learn player, they're just happy going with the normal fucking rotation that arena junkies or elitist jerks told them to do. So, alright guys, this is going to be the end of the guide. I'm not sure which class I want to do next. My main is technically a DK, so I might be doing like a DK guide. If you guys want, maybe I could do an Arms Warrior guide too. Just post in the comments, let me know what you like about this video, what you don't like about this video, what you would like to see in the future. And I absolutely will listen to what you guys say, and depending on what you say will change what my next future videos will be. Alright guys, so thanks. As always, you are my heart. I really hope you enjoy this guide. I really put a lot of work into it, and I wanted to really make it better than a lot of these guys that just stand still and talk for 20 minutes and expect that you're going to be okay with that. I hope you're not. I'm not. And I hope this guide is up to your standards. Alright guys, take care.